Hello, this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Thank you for joining me today. I've been promising for a very long time that I'm going to do a beginner's course and cover all the techniques and all the things you need to know as a beginner in one place. And today is the first one of my videos to do that. And I thought what I would do first of all, I've had a lot of beginners sign up for a new catalogue. And I know if you're a beginner, our annual catalogue can be a bit overwhelming. It's got how many pages? 190, 2, 3, 4 pages, including the covers, and a lot of stuff in there. So I thought I'd just do a quick run through just to get you your bearings in the catalogue, and it might help you out when you're thinking about what to order. I will be doing another video on what I think are the most essential things to have when you're starting out. So this is not that. This is just to get you to orientate around the catalogue. So beautiful cover. We always have a beautiful cover on our catalogue, usually featuring one or more of the stamp sets, and this one is Lovely You, which we'll come across in the catalogue in a minute. And then you open up, and on the inside cover here we've got some of the main tools that we use. The Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines aren't yet available, so they're on the front cover. They're coming very soon. We've been told they are going to be available to us very soon, but they're not here yet. But we've also got our Stamparators, our trimmer, and a punch there punch, and dies as well. I think they're demonstrating some dies. And these in the colour blocks are all our new colours. Every year we have 5 new colours that rotate, so they stay around for 2 years and then get replaced. And these are the ones for this 20 to 22. This is Bumblebee, Just Jade, Magenta Madness, Cinnamon Cider, and Misty Moonlight. So they will only be around for the next 2 years and then will be replaced. Now on page 1 of the catalogue, you've first of all got a list of all the suites in the catalogue, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 suites in the catalogue. Now what does a suite mean? It says coordinated product lines full of inspiration. What a suite means is that you get a selection of products that all coordinate together. So you might get stamps, dies, patterned paper, ribbons, gems, embellishments, cardstock, what else, and other bits and pieces that all go together, so that it's very easy for you to make gorgeous projects because you know that everything is going to coordinate. So it's worth looking out for the suites. There's 10 in the catalogue altogether. And then just 2 of these icons. So you'll see a lot of these little icons throughout the catalogue, and I'm going to point them out as we go. 10% off in this one. It means that if you buy a bundle, so we've got suites, which I've just explained is a whole load of products bundled together, but our bundles, well, the things we call bundles, are stamp sets and dies that coordinate, or stamp sets and punches that coordinate. So if you want to buy those together, the stamp set and the matching punch or the matching dies, you can get 10% off because they're bundled together. And the red N means it's something that's new to the catalogue. If it doesn't have a red N, it was carried over from last year's. So if we carry on, inside page 2, I'm not going to go through absolutely every page like this, so don't worry, it's not going to take forever. We have some photographs of the Gardner family. The company was started up, I think, 32 years ago now, I think, in America by the Gardner family. Shelley was one of the leading lights, this lady here, and then Sarah, her daughter. Can I see Sarah anywhere? Oh no, that's not Sarah. Oh, there's Sarah. That's Sarah's family. Of course it is. There's Sarah in the middle there. Has taken over from her mum now and is CEO of the company. It's quite nice. Every time we get a catalogue, you just have a catch up on the family and how it's doing. Okay, so you turn to page 3, and this, because we're Stampin' Up, we're all about stamps. So first page in, and we're talking about stamps. We're talking about the 2 different kinds of stamps that we offer. And again, there will be a whole video on this, so don't worry if you don't catch it now. I just want to say we have cling stamps and we have photopolymer stamps. The cling stamps are red rubber, You need a clear block to place them on. And they give a really clear image, a really lovely clear image. And they have come with stickers for you to be able to attach them. You will need clear blocks to attach them to. Photopolymer are transparent stamps, so they're really good for placement. They're to helping you align your stamps precisely. And so they're really good with things like two-step stamping, stamping off and things like that. So we'll be learning more about that as we go through. And then they've just listed here a few techniques that we will be covering in this little course: two-step stamping, markering, stamping off, pattern building, masking and heat embossing. All will be covered in more detail, but there's just a little bit of information about them there. Now, this is my favourite page in the whole catalogue. I love this rainbow of flowers. This is just talking about punches and dies, which are the two main cutting tools that we have to cut out shapes and things. And this is a range of all our flowers. I mean, obviously we've got loads of other shapes of things, but these are all our flowers. Doesn't it look gorgeous? Love it, love it, love it. Was there anything else then? Oh, and you can also see here how the colours all go together and coordinate. They're all tonally the same, so you can mix and match, especially within the colour families, and get really good colour coordination. You can see on this card here, they've used cardstock, they've used pattern paper, they've used ink, and they all coordinate perfectly. Until I joined Stampin' Up, I didn't realise how important that was. I used to crawl through craft shops trying to find a green ribbon or a piece of cardstock that matched something, and it was harder than you might think. Right, let's turn over. Now we get to the section on kits. Now these are groups of products that are sold together to help make, for anyone who's just starting out, be a really good idea. They're also really great for just grabbing and taking on holiday. If you want to do some crafting on holiday, these are great, especially our all-inclusive kits. We've got 2 all-inclusive kits here, which have absolutely everything you need. They've got a stamp pad and a block, and the stamps, and all the card bases, and usually decorated envelopes, absolute embellishments, everything you need. The only thing you might need is scissors and maybe a little bit of glue. So that's all that you would need. So we've got 2 of those kits here. They're £30. That one's £30. This is £27. Might seem a lot. They both make 15 cards, but bear in mind you will have a lot of stuff left over. First of all, you'll have these beautiful boxes left over, but you'll also have loads of twine, embellishments, the stamp set, the stamp pad, the block. So you will have a lot of other things left over to use in your future crafting. The next one is called a project kit. This is not all inclusive. The actual kit, which comes in a beautiful box, I don't know how well you can see it on here, but it is a gorgeous box. It's there. And you get all the printed card bases, the envelopes, the cardstock you're going to need, foiled labels, some twine, some ribbon, lots of stuff that you need. But you don't get the stamp set, and you don't get the inks that you'll need, so you will need to have some other products to make that up, but it is beautiful. And then this one, which is why I've got a pink, so all these pink tabs are, this is what I'd really like if I could afford it, and I haven't bought it yet. The boho indigo medley, which is a medley of probably a little bit like a suite, but smaller really. So in this medley you get stamp set, you get dies, you get ribbons, you get patterned papers, you get some embossed papers, and you get lots of die cut shapes to cut out. So that's on my list of wanting, but you would need some other things. You'd need ink to go with that. Probably only ink and glue and scissors. Maybe it's all you'd need. You would need a die cutting machine though, which maybe is not really a beginner bit of kit. Right. Okay. So from page 10 to page, where did I write it down? I thought I wrote it down somewhere. Page 139, I think, is all the stamp sets and things that we sell. So they're arranged, some of them arranged in suites. So like I said at the beginning, a whole range of products. All the things that are in the suite are listed down here with all their codes that you would need for ordering. Or if you decided you wanted absolutely everything, there's one code number and you can just add that and pay the cost of the suite. You don't have any saving apart from the bundle savings, which are part of it. You wouldn't save anything doing that. So if there was one thing you didn't like in the suite, it would be worth putting all the order numbers in separately. The other thing I wanted to point out was the colour buttons that they've put with all this patterned papers that they show. We call our patterned paper DSP, it's designer series paper, but I try and call it patterned paper because otherwise if you're not a Stampin' Up person you don't know what that means. But they've put the colour buttons with the patterned paper so you can see which colours it coordinates with. The other thing I wanted to say was there's another button I wanted to push out here, which is this one, and this means that the dies in this set will coordinate with our mini die cutter. Do you remember at the beginning I said there was a mini and a maxi, if you like? These would fit in the mini machine, so there's a little logo that shows that each time. So I'm not going to go through every page here to show you. Oh, just a couple of things I did want to say. Let me see. Done that. There's the 10% logo on these two bundles, you can see, so that's what you're looking out for if you want to save. And then you can see some of these shapes are shaded in beige or light cream, very vanilla, and some of them are shaded in light grey. Okay, that is because if it's shaded in very vanilla, it coordinates with the punch, and if it's shaded in grey, it coordinates with the die. So if you wanted to buy the bundles with the dies or the punches, you're looking out for the grey or the very vanilla. If you're an absolute beginner and don't have a lot of kit, certainly don't have a die cutter, look out for the punch symbols because they're very easy to use for beginners and really portable and really useful, and it's one of the things that Stampin' Up does really well. They do a lot of things really well, but that's one of them. Right, okay, so we've done that. Okay, page 15. Okay, now there's another little button here. This says distinctive, and that's our specially patented type of stamp, which gives you a very detailed image with only one stamp. I'll show you some more versions up here. We've got several in the catalogue now. They're always cling. Oh no, they're not. This is photopolymer. I was going to say they're always cling stamps, but these are photopolymer. Okay, that's new then. And they just give this sort of look, it looks like you've done loads of shading, but actually you've just stamped it. So that's something to look out for as well. That makes your stamping look really professional. And then we've got this little hexagon here which says 1 million, and there are million sales achievers. So people who have sold 1 million, it's not actually pounds worth or dollars worth, it's an equivalent of value in Stampin' Up terms, but they've sold a heck of a lot of stuff and they get the chance to design a stamp set. So that's somebody that's designed a stamp set. Last thing I want to point out is this little symbol here, which is, it says reversibles, and that means that any of these stamps, you can stamp them one way and get these really lovely detailed images, but then you can turn them over on your block and get these shadows. So you can get really nice effects by doing these block stamps as well. So they make your stamps just go a little bit further. Okay, at the base of these stamps, of all the stamps, it will tell you what kind of stamps they are. So it will tell you whether they're cling or photopolymer. They will also tell you the suggested block sizes that you might need. So for the poppies here, it says suggested clear block C, D and E. So that will just give you an idea of the size of blocks that you're going to need to stamp all of those images. Which is really important. I would suggest that for a beginner, a D block is a really good idea. This is a D block, and most of you can see all of those images. So that one could go like, so they're suggesting an E because that, or maybe that one, but that will just about fit on there. So I would suggest a D is a pretty good compromise if you only want to buy one block. Okay, so now I'm not going to show you every page in here because we'd be here forever. So another time I will come and I will show you some of the sets that I think are really good for beginners. But we're going to scooch through a little bit and go to this page, which, no, it's not that page, sorry. It is this page, which talks about, now this is a 2-step stamping set, which I talked about a little at the beginning. And that means that you've got 2 sets of stamps. So you can stamp this, you can see here, they've stamped that in pale blue, balmy blue or seaside spray, I think, and then come back in and stamp this one over top in a different colour, which gives you this different coloured version. They've done it in greens here, they've done it in multicolours here. So that's really good, and it does talk a little bit about here about using the Stamparatus for that. Now the Stamparatus is a really useful tool. Again, there'll be a video showing you about the Stamparatus, but when you really need to position things really carefully and want them in exactly the right place, Stamparatus is your friend. And our Stamparatus, it's a stamp positioning tool, and it's unique because it's got a hinged mechanism, which means you can move the plates along and do a repeat pattern at exact the same distance. So it's really good. You can see another pink band there because I like this set. Right, okay, so like I said, I'm not going to focus on all of this. I am just going to draw your attention to this section, which we've got a little bit of Christmas. So I know we're only in June, July, coming into July, but we've got a little bit of Christmas here. None of these are new sets. They were all in the old catalogue. These ones have got a punch to coordinate with. These ones have got dies to coordinate with. None of them are new, but there is a little bit of Christmas there. But our Christmas catalogue will be out in August for you to order from, so not long to wait. A punch with this set as well. So if there's any of those, you can order those at the moment if you'd like those, because they're in the annual catalogue, but the other Christmas things will not be available until August. Okay, right, and then I'm going to whiz through nearly to the end of the stamps and just point out our background stamps. These are some of the only stamps in the catalogue that are not shown at full size. These are shown at, does it tell me 50%? Oh, this is in full size, so the circles are in full size, but these are shown at, and I'm trying to find out where it says, I'm fairly sure it's 50%, but maybe not, maybe they're not. I think they're smaller than 50%. Anyway, they would more or less take up a whole A6 card front. They're big stamps. You can see here, this one has covered the whole base there. So you would need a bigger block for those, or something else that you could use as a block to print those. And then I just also wanted to point out our angel policy. So anything you make with Stampin' Up projects you can sell. There is no limited, but they are Stampin' Up's copyrighted images. So if you use our stamps, then you must include copyright Stampin' Up stamp on them somewhere. So if you bought this stamp set, for example, you get it in there. There used to be a couple of others that it comes in. I think that's the only set with it in at the moment. But this is a lovely set because it's got all the letters, so you can build up words, so that's really good. And then we are on to everything else. So all of those pages that I've skipped through are all stamp sets. Now we're on to something else. It says take a sip. When it comes to stamping, just remember the basics. You need stamps, you need ink, you need paper. Sip. You've seen the stamps. Now the next few pages will introduce you to the ink and paper to go with them. So all the things that you need to go with your stamps are on these pages. We've got cardstock, we've got ink pads and ink refills, we've got water-based markers, watercolour pencils, designer series paper or our patterned paper. We've got our stamping blends, which are our alcohol markers. We've got ribbons and trims, and we've got embellishments, rhinestones, pearls, enamel dots, all sorts of things. Love this page, love all these bits. So on this page, we've got all our colour collections. Everything that we do comes in colour collections. So we have a Brights collection, a Neutrals collection, a Regals collection, a Subtles collection, some basic colours, black, cream and white basically, and then the in colours, which like I said, stay around for 2 years and then get replaced. So these are the current ones, the new ones. These are the ones from last year. This time next year, these will be replaced by 5 new ones, and everything comes in colour families. So you can buy cardstock, you can buy individual, so you can buy individual packs of cardstock in any of these colours. You can buy, and it will tell you on these tables what you can buy. You can buy a classic ink pad, you can buy the ink refill, and you can buy blends, but not in quite all the colours. You can see there are some missing. Not quite all the colours in blends, but if you wanted an assortment, if you're starting out and don't have much stuff, you might want to buy an assorted card pack, so you get lots of colours to choose from there. So again, in our colour families, you get 2 sheets of each colour, except for the in colours, and you get 4 sheets of each colour. in them. This designer series paper, this pattern paper is really useful. I buy this every year. We have different ones every year, but it's in our colour family, so you get 4 different designs in each of the colours in the colour family. So if you buy Bright, you'll get all 4 designs in all of the Bright's colours. So that's they're really useful. I love them. And then we've got our stamping pad bundles. So if you buy a bundle of stamp pads, again, you save 10%, and the ink refills for them. Here's our Stampin' Right markers. They're our water-based markers. And that you can buy the whole set. So you can buy them in colour families, or you can buy the whole set. It's a bit of an investment, that, though. And then 2 lots of watercolour pencils. This is our storage, so it fits all Stampin' Up products. So if you want to tidy up your craft room, that's quite a good way to do it. These are all our our tools and things for colouring, different ways of colouring. I'll be covering all of these in much more detail, but I just wanted to point out the stamping spots here. So if you don't feel like investing in a whole, so this is £63 for 10 colours of stamp pad. If you don't feel like spending quite that much, you could buy these little inch square stamping spots, which will give you 8 colours for only £22. So that's a really good way to start. And I have to say, if you go on to start using our Stamparatus, they're much easier to use with the Stamparatus than the big stamp pads. This is all the pattern paper, the designer series paper. The descriptions will tell you whether it's 6 by 6 or 12 by 12. Some of it is foiled. If it's called speciality, usually it has some foils on it. And this one is foiled in gold, I think. Gold foil, yeah. And then there's another one. This one is foiled, and I think that's foiled in brass, that one. These are the same ones as I pointed out on the previous page. Those, same as those. Trimmer and scoreboard. Until we had this trimmer, I would have said a scoreboard was absolutely essential. A trimmer really is essential because you do want to get nice straight lines when you cut mats and things. But this one you can score as well. So actually, my scoreboard doesn't get nearly as much use now. So if you're trying to save a few pennies, I would say buy the trimmer. Don't worry about the scoreboard quite yet. Then we've got packaging, bags and boxes, some more speciality paper. Lots of different kinds of papers and envelopes, really important, and various bits and pieces, vellum. Memories and More, which is our scrapbooking series, but can be used for other things other than scrapbooking. Embellishment, so like I said, gems, pearls, sequins, lots and lots of lovely things. And then it says Unsung Heroes. Some of these are my essential tools. So a bone folder I think is essential, and some good sharp scissors with very fine points are very important as well. I'll take your pick. The pick tool is very good because you can change the heads for different tools. So you can have an embossing stylus, you can have a pokey tool, you can have a brush for dies and things. So that's quite a good investment as well. Lots of lovely ribbons. Again, they all coordinate with the colours, so it makes your crafting so much easier because you know that your cardstock, your ink, your ribbon, your designer series paper all going to coordinate really well. And adhesives, and again there'll be a whole video on adhesives. We have so many different adhesives and for different purposes, and it really will depend on what you prefer using. This is all about stamping accessories, so ways to clean your stamps and the blocks, all the different blocks that you can buy. You can buy extra stamp cases if you wanted them. I keep my chamois in one of these stamp cases, which is perfect size. Grid paper, which obviously I use for all my videos. I have that on my desk. And then Stamparatus, again we'll be doing lots on Stamparatus in this course. And then we have all the punches that we've seen already through the catalogue, and some that we haven't actually, but these all laid out here in grey, the shapes that they punch out, really easy to see. And then the punch bundles, so these are new things with a stamp set and a punch that go together, and you can save 10% by buying those together. Stamping cut and emboss tools, I'll be back with more about them, but they're not available at the minute. I think they've had a bit of delay because of COVID, and those are all the tools to go with it. And then we've got our bundles of dies and stamps. So If you haven't got a die cutter yet, then maybe don't worry too much about these pages. But if you have, you might want to look and see. You can save 10% buying any of these. So all the dies are shown in green, and then it gives you the page to refer back to the stamp set that goes with them. All of those, loads and loads and loads, and then just sets of dies that still coordinate with stamp sets in the catalogue, but they're not bundled. And again, you can see the mini symbol here showing us all of these will go through the mini cut and emboss machine when it comes. Loads of them will go through the mini. And then lastly, last thing to point out in product are embossing folders. And if they are in jade, they are a standard embossing folder, and if they are in a mint macaron, which is this one, they are a 3D embossing powder, which is a bit thicker, so you have to change the sandwich on your machine, but they give you a really lovely deep embossed image. And we've got loads of different selections there for you to choose from, and again, some of them fit the mini machine. And then nearly at the end here, right at the end here, we've got an index of all the stamp sets, which is quite useful. We've got a little page on joining. Now, people think if they're a beginner, they can't join, but absolutely you can. If you want to talk to me about joining, if this is going out on the day I think it is, it's going to still be June, and we've got a really good offer on joining, which is buy £130 worth of product for £99 and then choose a free bundle. So any of those bundles that we just looked at, you could get for free, and you'd only pay £99 at the moment, but that finishes at the end of June the 30th, so not long to go. But this page is all about hosts. Stampin' Up used to run on a party basis, a bit like Tupperware and Avon and things like that. We've moved a little bit away from that now. Most of us sell online. We don't do, and we do classes, but we don't so much do parties anymore. So they call it host, but actually it's any order. So if you were to order £150 worth of product, you would get 10% back in Stampin' Rewards. So you'd be able to choose £15 worth of free product. If you spent 275, which I know is a big order, you get 12% and so on. At the moment, if it's still in June, you can get an extra £20. If you spend £200, you get £20 that you would get normally. You'd get another £20, you'd get £40. And that, I think, after I feel like I've talked forever, is it. I just wanted to give you that little run through the catalogue. Thought it might be quite helpful. If you've got any questions, if you haven't got your copy of the catalogue yet, do let me know and I'll be happy to send you one. But I think that is it. And I will be back every Tuesday with a new instalment. So sometimes we will be making projects, sometimes we'll have a video talking about a technique, sometimes we'll have a video talking about tools and other things that you need for your stamping, for your craft room. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I'll be back very soon with more projects and whatever. So stay safe and I'll see you soon.